welcome to Fix It with Fowler. My name's Steve and today I'm going to show you just how easy it is to install this Rockwool sound insulation and reduce noise by up to 40 decibels. Now that is quite impressive. But before we get onto the video, I'd just like to say don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any of my how-to range of videos. So let me tell you a few things about Rockwool sound insulation. So what is it? It's made from sustainable, renewable volcanic rock, of all things, which makes it non-combustible and can withstand temperatures of up to 1000 degrees. It's water repellent and resists rot and mould, so it's ideal to install in your house for them reasons really. How does it work? So Rockwool insulation absorbs sound waves and reduces vibration due to its density and non-directional fibre orientation. It has an open, porous structure which traps and prevents sound waves from travelling through it, which basically means when you look at the product up close, you can see that there's no particular way this product is made, which basically means that the fibres run in all different directions, which obviously helps it trap the sound waves, and also it's so dense. I mean, that product itself is quite strong. So what we're actually going to do with it, how we're going to install it. So this has a flexi edge down one side which enables friction fitting. That means that in a lot of instances you don't need to cut it. So if it's going into a stud wall or it's going in between joists, say before the plasterboard's gone up, then you can actually force this into place and it'll hold itself there due to the friction of the edge really. If you install it following Rockwool's recommendations, which you can find on their website, I'll post a link below, you can reduce the noise, in this instance in a floor, by up to 40 decibels, and that is really impressive. So before you can install this sound insulation, you're going to need access to your floors. So that might mean lifting a carpet, or in my case the carpet's already gone and I've already got floors lifted from previous work. So if you're unsure how to lift the floorboards, then please have a look at the link on the video. Click on that link, it will take to one of my other videos that show you actually in depth how to remove floorboards and refit them without causing any problems. Okay, so the boards are up, we've hoovered out the floor space, and now we're ready for this insulation. So as you can tell, what I've actually got on is a paper suit. The installation instructions for this Rockwool state that it should really cover your skin, so you can use like an old jumper or something, but I prefer to use these and you can throw them away after and you've not got the fibres going into your wash machine. Equally, what you need is a decent dust mask. You don't want this stuff getting into your lungs when you're cutting it. Some gloves, again, to keep it off your skin, but also when you're pushing your hands under the floorboards, the last thing you want to be doing is getting splinters. You're going to need a tape measure to measure the gap between the joists. This particular stuff comes at 400mm wide. As you can see, that joist is 400, that's 300, and that's just over at 420. So you have to sort of adjust that to suit the joist. So what you need is an old handsaw. It doesn't really need to be sharp, or you might get away with a Stanley knife. Good idea to have something like a piece of wood to cut down. Does make it a bit easier and something to cut it on. In this instance I've just got a trestle. Okay, so as you can see, sometimes these insulation slabs will just slide in, and other times you've got to cut them. Now, there's a few options here to cut these. You could cut them lengthways, so you've got a big sheet to slide in, or you can cut them like I have to make it easier to handle. Now, this is quite tight. We've not got much room, so if they jam on things, it's quite difficult if it's a long sheet, especially if you've cut it down, it's not got so much strength. The main thing to do really is to try and overlap the joints. If you've got all the joints in line and there's a bit of an air gap, that's going to allow the sound to come through. So if you stagger the joints a bit like brickwork, then that will keep the integrity of the insulation, which will help prevent the sound from transmitting from downstairs to upstairs. Now, just under here is a spotlight, so the next piece that I've started to cut is shaped like this to go around the spotlight, but then we also need this piece here. So I'd like to try and do it in one piece, but whether that's going to work out, I don't know. So if I measure through from the end of that joist to where the existing Rockwool ends, I've got about 37 centimetres. So what I do to mark it is put a little mark like that with a knife, then spin the tape measure around, get that measurement, 17, do a mark like that. And then that allows you then to get your piece of wood to put on that edge and cut along that edge. And then the next measurement we need is obviously from there to there, which is 17. So that is there. And then if we do the same thing there, now this doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, however it does help. What it also allows you to do is when you come to put this piece in, then you can actually work it around what you've got. So we've got all these cables here now. In an ideal world, we try and go underneath them, which is what I'm doing right now. So the reason we go underneath them is, there's two reasons really. The first reason is electrical cables, when they're under load, can become warm. So if we trap them with insulation, that heat can build up and cause us problems in the future. So that's why we like them above the insulation. The other thing is, if you need to do any work on them, extend them, move them, then you can clearly see where they are. Okay, so that is the floor all insulated. We've put in 2 layers of 50mm Rockwool sound insulation. We've staggered all the joints to suppress any sound that can get through any of the gaps. We've gone around cables and pipes. The important thing to note really is to try and keep the cables on top of the insulation, like in this instance, so that they're accessible and so that they don't overheat. Try and fill in as many gaps as you can. If there is places you can't get to, then so be it. But in an ideal world, you'll have a continuous layer. So that should be this room quieter at least. Stop me hearing the dogs snoring anyway. So the next job really is to put these floorboards back down and make sure they don't squeak. So hope you liked the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.